Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Marina here, and I am so glad to have you back. If it's your first time here, my name is Marina. I make videos from Saskatoon, Canada, where I share about my experiences as a Nigerian immigrant in Canada. Please do well to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so that you get notified every time a new video is uploaded. Today I'm going to be answering a question that more than one person has asked me. Like, you carried your entire life, you carried your entire family, uprooted everything that you knew, everything you had a budding career, you had a growing family, you uprooted all of that and moved it to this land that you were unsure of. Was it worth it? Is Canadian immigration worth it? That's the question I'm going to be answering today. If you want to hear what my opinion is and you want to learn more about that, definitely keep watching. First thing I need you to understand is that Canadian immigration is not for everybody. If you do not have a reason to move from where you are, by all means stay there. There are some people I know who can never live outside of Nigeria. It's okay, right? Like, really, I don't think anybody should be under pressure to move out of their home countries because that's what everybody's doing. If you're going to move from Nigeria, for instance, to Canada, you should be able to identify the reason why you're doing it. You should be able to identify your why. Your why is going to be your major motivation at times where things don't go as planned, and more than half the time, take it from me, things don't go as planned. More than half the time there will be curves that you did not see coming. I'm going to talk about this. Is Canadian immigration really worth it? I'm going to talk about the advantages and the disadvantages that I have experienced so far in my journey. Like, I've been here it's almost 4 years now, and I think I have a little experience to to comment on this. I've had a little experience to now say, okay, I can compare what I've seen so far and what it has been from where I'm coming from. So I'm going to talk about this under broad categories. I'm going to talk about it under quality of life. I'm going to talk about it in terms of education. I'm going to talk about it in terms of healthcare. I'm going to be talking about it generally about security, and I'm going to touch a bit about career because if you look through my channel, I've done a number of videos where I've talked about the career part, the adjustment I needed to make to get back into the workforce. So yeah, if you look through my channel, you already find what my opinion and my advice on career is. So yeah, in terms of quality of life and security, guys, Canada is considered a first world country. I am originally Nigerian, for those of you who don't know, and Nigeria is considered a first world country. So of course the quality of life is different. The quality of life I would say I have experienced here is better than what I've always known. The basic amenities are more readily available than it has been in Nigeria. In terms of security, like, it is relatively safe where I live. The times that people really need help, if you call for help, 5-10 minutes at the most, help comes to you, right? Like, we have a functional police system that enforces the law, that people who are well trained to enforce these things. And guys, like, I'm not afraid of the police for the first time in a while. I understand what it means when they say police is your friend. I now know what that means. I think I've been stopped by the police maybe once or twice in the last 4 years, and the only time that we got a ticket was for something that we did wrong. This guy wrote me a ticket for like $585, and I could not even be angry. The police was so polite. He was apologizing to me for giving me a ticket. Even me, I was smiling. I was happy to get the ticket, but it was a lot of money, right? The guy was so polite. He explained the action that justifies him writing that ticket. I understood what I was being penalized for. He was apologizing to me for giving me a ticket. Here, there's respect. People are treated with respect. Guys, there's respect from law enforcement officers. You are respected. General quality of life, I would say yes. General security, I would say yes. It is a lot better than what I've always known. At Saskatoon, like I said, the crime rate is increasing. People are now talking about general feelings of being unsafe, but it is not as bad as using iron bars to lock your doors. I've gone to bed without locking my doors. I've forgotten to lock the car and nothing got missing. Like, generally I feel safe. I feel a lot safer here than I've always had. In the area of education from kindergarten all the way to grade 12 is free. That's your taxes at work. So education is free. My child, when we came here, my son was in preschool. He did preschool for 1 year, did kindergarten for 1 year. He's currently in grade 2, and I've not gotten any invoice from school to say this is what you owe as school fees. I pay it in taxes, and my child goes to school and is able to access quality education for free. Before we left Nigeria, he just turned 3 when we left, and at that time he was in, I think he was in preschool 2. I was already paying more than 100,000 naira a term in school fees for him, just school fees. So compare that to doing free of charge from kindergarten all the way to grade 12. We're talking about 13 to 14 years of education for free. That's what happens here in Canada. Education is free for children. However, post-secondary education is not free, and it is not exactly cheap. Higher education here in Canada is not exactly cheap. It's not cheap for permanent residents. It is even more expensive for international students. If you put together all the money you spend to get a university degree here in Canada compared to Nigeria, you might need to train maybe like 3 or 4 children in a federal university. It is very expensive. It almost looks like they give you 12 to 13 years to save for university. So if you are not taking advantage of that period where you're not paying to save and make proper financial plans to now cushion the cost of university education, then that one is on you. Or is your case. They have given you 13 years for free. If you not plan the last 4 years, well, that's your cup of coffee, okay? but what I'm trying to say is education is free, and that takes a huge burden away from the parents. Again, cannot be compared to where I'm coming from, because education back in Nigeria is not exactly free. If you're going to consider government education, you are not guaranteed proper standards. If you are then going to consider private education, you know how expensive it can be. I hear now that there are schools in Nigeria where children can pay as much as 1 million naira for a term in school fees. That's a lot of money. Think about it. It's a lot of money. Multiply that times primary 1 to 6, GSS 1 to SS3. That's 12 years. Imagine paying that much money. Let's just say it stays 1 million for 12 years, which it will not. So think about that on the long-term basis. You will realize that, man, it can be a lot of money, and that's what we get to save here. In the area of healthcare, guys, healthcare in Canada is free. Basic healthcare is free. Prescription medication is not covered. If you're going to have any medication that's prescribed to you by a doctor, you have to pay for that out of pocket. If you have extra insurance in your office where there's extended coverage for prescription medication, then yes, it will be a benefit that is offered by the employer. But if you do not have that, then you have to pay for prescription medication out of pocket. For more serious medical conditions, it's not free, it's not covered. You have to pay for that out of pocket, which is why it's advisable to take insurance against some of these things. I'm going to talk more about that in subsequent videos, talking about insurance against critical conditions and health insurance and general information like that. I mean, if you don't have that, then you have to pay for medication out of pocket. Since I moved to Canada, both my children have had minor surgeries, and it cost me $0. I did not pay a dime at the hospitals. I did not pay a dime for any consulting, because they were attended to by pediatricians, like high up medical guys like that. But it did not cost me anything. Healthcare is a bit dicey in Canada because, yes, both of them have had minor surgeries, but we were on a wait list for months before we got to do that surgery. So that's the dicey part of things. The healthcare is free, but if you need like consultation from like a specialist, it can be anywhere from 6 to 12 months or even more to wait before you can get an appointment. The wait lists are crazy, but healthcare, basic healthcare, is generally free. So these are what I would call like the general advantages. The standard of life has been better, the quality of life has been better, education is free for my children, and healthcare, basic healthcare, has been free for them. In terms of security, I consider this relatively safer than where I'm coming from. Now I'm going to talk about the disadvantages, what it has been so far. Now, if you've followed my channel for a while, you will know that I have talked about a number of this. Number one, the weather. You guys know that that's a given, especially in Saskatchewan where I live. The weather can be absolutely brutal, and that, I would say, is the major disadvantage of what it has been here. Now there's another disadvantage, is that life here is expensive. Yes, the cost of living is good, but it comes at a price. It is very expensive to live here. Bills are not paid the way we know it in Nigeria, where you pay your rent yearly. Here, rent, mortgage, those things are paid on a monthly basis, and there's no landlord take half, I will come back after, or Oga write my name in the credit book, or you don't pay your power, like those things. You don't have the leverage to say, can I come back and pay you in 3 months? Here, you must pay your mortgage when it is the date that the money should be paid. You must pay your rent the date the money should be paid. Your utilities, the same thing. You have to pay those bills monthly. There's no getting out of it. There's no shortcut, and it can be very expensive. So yeah, cost of living is good, quality of life is good, but it is expensive. right? Depending on where you are, some cities are more expensive than others. Again, I've talked extensively about those things. So yeah, the weather, it is expensive. And then there's the thing of feeling lost. I have talked about that previously as well. People talk about discrimination and racial profiling. Guys, I really wish that I had stories to share with you, personal experiences that I can share with you to say, yes, this happened. I know it happened. I just don't have any personal experiences with this. So I don't think I have the authority to speak to this because I don't have any personal experiences. I just don't want to propagate what I hear. Okay, that person said, that person said. I don't want to do that. That's in no way invalidating the experiences of the people who may have had to deal with some kind of discrimination or racial profiling or the other. I'm not invalidating that. I'm just saying I don't think I have a right to talk about that because I don't have any personal experiences. But that's something that happens where people feel out of place because of skin color, where you feel people treat you differently because of the color of your skin. People have experienced that. I just haven't. Now, another area I'm going to talk about to talk about the disadvantages. One other area I'm going to point out is somewhat related to career, is that I find that there's a major disconnect between Canadian immigration and Canadian employers. The average Canadian employer does not understand the immigration processes. So when you evaluate your credentials and then World Education Services West sends you that report to say your bachelor's degree in Nigeria is considered an equivalent of a bachelor's degree here in Canada, the average Canadian employer does not understand that. So you find that most times the qualification that you bring into the country, the experience that you bring into the country, most times does not always count. It is not put into consideration. So it might be tough to get if you're coming into Nigeria with 10 years experience as the manager of a bank, for instance, you might not necessarily come here and be able to get a job as the manager of a bank. I find that most times you have to step down and take jobs that are maybe 2-3 steps lower. It might take you up to 2 to 3 years or even up to 5 years to get to the same level that you're coming from in Nigeria here in Canada. I'm talking about roles and job titles. So if you're a manager back in Nigeria, you come here, you might have to step down and it will take you 3 to 5 years to get to that same level where you are now a manager. It takes a while for that to happen. So that, I would say, is a major disadvantage that greatly influences careers. People are not able to find jobs at the same level that are at par with where they're coming from. Most times you have to downgrade. That's where you start from, because the education and sometimes the qualification that you're bringing, the qualification and the experience you're bringing into the country does not always count. There are jobs that are already available, but the employers would ask for Canadian experience. And for a newcomer, if nobody takes a chance, where are you going to get Canadian experience from? So more than half the time, people have to go to school to get Canadian education to be able to break into the workforce. That's what I did. But as soon as you're able to break into the workforce, it is you can climb. But that initial getting in, that initial coming into the country with your previous qualification and your education, it does not always count. So sometimes you just come here and it's almost like you start from scratch, you know. So that's what I would say the general advantages and the disadvantages have been since I have been here. So to answer the question, is Canadian immigration actually worth it? For me, I would say it absolutely is. It is absolutely worth it. For me, it has been worth it. For you, the story might be different. For you, the quality of the life you had back in your home country may be better. It might be easier for you to stick to what you already know. But if you're going to come here, then just know that there are tough adjustments that you need to make. There are changes that need to happen. So for me, I would say Canadian immigration has been absolutely worth it. There are advantages, there are disadvantages, but I would say the advantages, in my opinion, far outweigh the disadvantages. If I could go back, would I make this decision again? 1000% I will. I will make this decision over and over. I like the ease at which I'm able to plan and project to the future, to say, okay, in the next 3 to 6 months, this is what I would like to do, and then after that, this is where I'm going from there. And honestly, with a lot of dedication and commitment, I'm able to follow through with those plans. I'm not afraid that one government policy is just going to spring and change overnight and change everything. Those policies that are made without putting into consideration the effect that it will have all the way down to the people at the bottom of the ladder. So I like the ease at which I'm able to project. If you sit down and really plan, there's almost nothing that stops you. And guys, that for me has been absolutely worth it. I'm not going to push anybody say come or don't come. It's going to be entirely up to you. That decision is yours to make. But for me, I would say Canadian immigration is worth it. If it's something that you're looking to do, I would say it is worth giving a shot. Well, yeah guys, so that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. As usual, I enjoy hearing your experiences, so please leave me a comment below and share your experiences. Has it been worth it for you? For those of you who already live in Canada, would you say moving here has been worth it? Have you experienced any form of discrimination or racial profiling? Please share your experience with me. I want to learn more about that. It's always such a pleasure to hear your stories, so please do well to leave your stories below. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you to everybody the new subscribers who have joined us. Our channel has grown, and I appreciate all of you who have subscribed. If you're yet to subscribe, please do well to hit the subscribe button. Let's continue to grow our family. Well, thank you again for watching this video, guys. Until I come your way in my next video, it's your girl Marina saying thank you and have a great day. Bye bye.